and good afternoon, everyone. And I know that you have joined us from different countries around the globe. So, hello to all of you, and welcome to our session designed specially for the students who have opted for exemptions and they are looking forward to their strategic professional exam preparations. So, the session is on Mastering ACCA Exams, a guide for exempted students. My name is Richa, and I work as Education Support Manager at ACCA. Exemptions accelerates your journey to membership, but at times it can be a challenge for many students with exemptions, not fully understanding like what are the key differences between academic studies and ACCA exams. So please don't get let that you hold you back, and this session will guide you through the essential steps to smooth transition from academic studies to ACCA qualification success. Sonia Weston, Education Partner Support Lead, and Zikang, a dignified tutor, have joined us today to talk and guide us more on exemptions. Before I hand over to them, I would like to cover a few housekeeping items very quickly for you. You will, on your screen, you will see a number of buttons which you can use for the purposes, different purposes. Like there is a help icon on the left, which provides resources and information to help you resolve any technical issues you might experience. There are icons for both slides and media player. You will need to see both of these during the webinar, so make sure you have selected them. There is an attendee chat function, so you can engage with fellow webinar attendees, and you should not be sharing your personal details on the chat. I mean, too much personal details should not be there. There is a resource list icon. If you click on that, you will be able to access resources that are relevant to today's webinar, and they include direct links as well as there are some guidance documents also for you. You can rearrange your screen to suit you and resize the windows if you need to. And if at any point you cannot hear what we are saying or you cannot see any visuals, please refresh your browser. Registering for the session means you will be sent an email soon after the session and with the details like how you can listen to it again. So don't worry if you miss something or you have any technical issues, you will be able to access the recording. During the session, if you want to ask ACCA experts a question, then please post them in Q&A section. We cannot guarantee responding to everyone directly, either verbally or via web chat, but we will hope that whichever questions we have been able to pick up will be helpful to everyone. So with this, I'm now handing over to Soni. Over to you, Soni.
Thanks very much, Richa, and hello everyone. Welcome to this session. My name is Sonia Weston. I'm the Education Support Leader here at ACCA, where my team and I are dedicated to providing the guidance and resources you need for exam success. So thank you very much for joining us today. Feel free to drop a message in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from, and I'll do a few shout outs before we get into the session today. I'm pleased to be joined by my co-host, TK, who is an ACCA tutor, and TK will introduce himself more in a short while. A little bit more about me to start off with. So before joining ACCA, I spent many years teaching ACCA students. And today, both TK and myself, we're going to share valuable insights that we've gained over the years. We're going to share some advice, and it's all aimed at you entering the ACCA qualification with exemptions. Now, your exemptions could be from a degree, or it could be from another relevant qualification. Now, whether you're totally new to ACCA or whether you're an existing student, hopefully you've chosen your first exam, you've booked your exam, and you're ready to begin with your preparation. Now, while degree studies often emphasize understanding theories and concepts, ACCA exams require a more applied approach. And today we're going to equip you with the knowledge and strategies to help you succeed on your journey. So what are we going to be looking at today? We're going to cover key topics to help you prepare effectively for your first ACCA exams, perhaps. And here's what you can expect. We're going to highlight the major differences between academic study and ACCA exam preparation, because understanding these distinctions is going to be crucial to adapt efficient and effective study techniques and strategies for your ACCA exam approach. We're going to look at how you should get started, so how to choose your first exam, giving you some advice on that so that you can make that decision with confidence. So choosing an exam that aligns with your strengths. We're going to look at how to identify knowledge gaps. Now, identification of knowledge gaps is key to effective exam preparation, and it's important that you do this as early on in the process as possible. So we'll be introducing you to tools that will help you assess where improvement is needed and allow you to focus your efforts effectively. Once you've identified those knowledge gaps, you, of course, need to close those knowledge gaps. So the next step will be to address them and face them head on. And we're going to explore a variety of resources that will help you strengthen your knowledge in those areas and build your confidence. We're going to go on to look at study and exam techniques. So, ACCA exams require a focus and strategic approach, and we're going to share some proven study tips and best practices that have helped other candidates in the same situation as you succeed. And we're going to take you through some essential resources to support your transition. To wrap it all up, we're going to open the floor for questions, but you don't have to wait until the end for your questions. Do put your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many of those questions as we can, either throughout the course of the presentation or at the end of the presentation. So this is your opportunity to seek clarification on any topic that we cover in this webinar, to get your personalized advice on what we're covering here today. And so I strongly encourage you to engage and make the most of this interactive session. Now, I'm just going to see, hopefully you've put in the chat box where you are joining us from. So let me do a few shout outs. Well, thank you. I see many of you have. So we start off with Diraj saying hi to everybody. You haven't put where you're from. We've got Lorraine joining us from Scotland. You're a South African in Scotland. We've got Simon from Poland, DK from Brunei, Ivan joining us from Ireland, another South African living abroad. We've got Zin joining us from Malaysia, Marina from Ireland, Deidre from Delhi, David from Florida, USA. Welcome. I'm sure it's a lot warmer there than it is here at the moment. Nicole from London, Esther from Malaysia, Polat from Turkmenistan, Asantha from Sri Lanka. We've got Ronald from Zimbabwe, Oscar from Turkey, Naomi from India, Jasmina from Serbia, Bashir from UK, Sim, another South African, which is great, Julie from London. We've got Katleko from South Africa. So happy to have so many of you from across the globe joining us today. Keep putting it in the chat, and I'll come back and I'll do a few shout outs in a little while. For now, I'm going to hand over to TK, and TK is going to guide you on how ACCA differs from what you've previously studied. So over to you, TK.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for the session. Good morning and good afternoon, and of course, good evenings on my part of this Malaysia, at this part of the world. Thank you very much for giving me the chance here to just give a bit of sharing with everyone about proceeding and carrying on your last mile of the journey to complete your exam in strategic professional. My name is TK Chand, one of the expert tutor for ACCA for the exam papers like PM, FM, APM, and AFM. And I have been seeing students who succeeds from the exam and the study over the years from applied skills or even from the degree background that carry on themselves into the strategic professional level successfully. And over the years of observations, I noticed there are several key success factors, which I would like to share with you in a moment, which that will help you to maximize the chances of you to succeed in your exam, hopefully with the first attempt in the strategic professional. But beforehand, I would suppose you have to be well aware about your strengths, particularly that have groomed and built from your previous study in the academic route. But coming into another set of ball game in professional examination, it is equally important for you to identify what were the new habits, what were the new mindsets, what were the new strategies and approach of learning that you require in order to take on the new set of the assessment method in the strategic professional that could be quite different comparing to your academic study in the past. So only when we could identify the gap in between, that will allow you to know and figure out what are the changes required, what are the new approaches that you need to bring it on to yourself in order to prepare yourself towards the more effective learning manner to enhance and maximize the chances of the success in the examination. So before I get started off to talk about the gap between or the differences between the two of the rule, feel free to just drop in your response in the chat box over here. If this is the first time for you to pursue the very first strategic professional paper in the upcoming exam sitting, you may just want to put 1 in the group chat. If that is not your first strategic professional exam that you're pursuing into December, you may want to just put 2 or 3, which is your second attempt or the third attempt of the exam paper. So that will give me a little bit of the understanding on where are you now currently. Well, I suppose that most of you should come under 1, obviously, given the chance that most of us are just coming in from the academic route of the study and learning. So I'm referring to the attendee chat right now. Yes, I think that as what I'm expecting, most of us here are first time taking the strategic professional exam in the upcoming session. Well, first and foremost, let's look at the calendar and the countdown so that you are well aware what are the available time and days that left behind for you to plan out more effectively towards your exam preparations in the December sitting. Now, given that most of us here are actually from looking at the screens right now, you are either from the undergraduate or the postgraduate of the route of learning by carrying on to the strategic professional exam. Allow me to highlight a few of these areas, which is listed on the left-hand side of the column, that show and serve a great difference comparing between the academic route of study right in the middle of the column, comparing to the strategic professional exam on the right-hand side of the column. Now, I'm sure everyone would be quite familiar with the assessment methods that what you have gone through way back in the university studies. It comes with ranges of assessment methods, including examination, progress tests, coursework, assignment, presentation. Now, all this kind of various assessment methods that allows you to grab hold of the points or the score to hit the passing line will allow the students to diversify the risks by getting the marks based upon whatever strength that you can demonstrate in different kinds of activities. Whereas coming into professional exam, the assessment method is pretty much simple. There's only one assessment method. By going to the examination and try to grab hold of 50 marks at least to get a pass. Well, it looks very easy and straightforward with this kind of a very direct method of assessment. However, with a vast difference between the two kinds of assessment method, I think one should realize when you are on different assessment methods, it is not only about a change in your exam technique. To be more precise, you're going to change right from the mindset, right from the mentality, all the way down to the strategy of your learning, the method of your learning, and also the technique of gaining the 50 marks as the passing line. So all these are the gap that you're going to fill up as soon as possible. And obviously, in a moment, myself and Sonia will highlight to you the kind of tools that you could make use of in helping you to narrow down and put yourself at a better position to prepare yourself to deal with this kind of a new assessment method, which is the external exam. Now, guys, another key, I would say, key tips for you to get well performed in the external exam is trying to get yourself understand as much as you can, reading the minds, understanding the expectation from the team of examiner. What exactly the examiners of each of these strategic professional paper are looking at. So what do they want to see on the student's ability? And this is how you would tell yourself, okay, this is how examining team are looking for. This is what they are expecting me to demonstrate. You then have to tell yourself, how are you going to demonstrate all these expectations within the exam durations on the exam session? Now, it is always easier to say than done. You know that this is what the examiner are looking for to grant you a pass. Are you able to deliver it effectively? Are you able to carry on as planned during the exam session? That require not one, but numerous time of rehearsal. One of the key success factors in doing well in dealing with external exam, it's about, have you done enough rehearsal? And this is all be possible by you attempting numerous rounds of mock examination. So that is why the ACCA is putting a lot of emphasis, putting a lot of advices, encouraging a lot of students to take the effort to attempt the mock examination that allows you to get yourself into the mode of dealing with the external exam as soon as possible. Apart from that, looking at the mode of exam, I know some of us, when we did the assessment back in university, we may did it in the paper form or the paper base of the exam, even though some of the university already have shifted to computer-based. Guys, trust me, even though the entire strategic professional exam in the ACCA, they are all on computer-based, do not underestimate the expectation, the requirements for you to get yourself familiar enough to make use of all the gadgets, to make use of all the functionality in the practice platform or the computer-based exam platform that ACCA is riding on. Never underestimate the kind of habits, the kind of routines that will help students to be able to carry on and implement the strategy within the time. So that is exactly what the mode of exam is hinting you to keep an eye, get yourself familiarized with the computer and the IT skills to do well within the time on the exam day. In terms of learning and study approach, well, you may know the exam questions, the type of questions that you get in the academic study, perhaps is emphasizing more into understanding what is SWOT analysis, what is net present value. But when it comes to strategic professional exam, any exam papers that you're looking for, virtually, the entire exam sessions of each and every strategic professional paper, it's heavily emphasizing on application. Everything is about apply, apply, and apply. So in other words, if you are thinking of earning marks in answering some of the strategic professional paper like SBL, Strategic Business Leader, if the questions talk about SWOT, do not think about if you just define, if you just explain what is the meaning of SWOT, you would earn mark. That isn't the case in strategic professional exam. Instead, what examining team and the marketing team are expecting the students is to apply directly about the model to produce the findings based on the scenarios given and mentioned in the case. So this is what we call application. And not to mention about the challenges of applying the knowledge in strategic professional is definitely much higher comparing to the questions you get in the undergraduate study. That's because the breadth and the depth of the syllabus and the content in each of every strategic professional paper, it's definitely a lot more comparing to even postgraduate study. So when you are dealing with a much more overwhelming volume and the content of the knowledge, that put together to make this kind of exam a challenging. However, it is possible for you to achieve and get passed at the first time. As I just mentioned, it all depends on, are you doing the right thing at the right time? So what exactly are the right things? This is the purpose of the sessions for today, by highlighting to you, giving you some advice and tips of study. Last but not least, well, comparing to what you normally get in the undergraduate or postgraduate learning, your achievement will be differentiated by classes of degree that you obtain. Whereas in the strategic professional or in the professional examination, we only differentiate between passes versus failure based upon the trigger point of 50 marks. As a result, a lot of learning advices from tutor, from ACCA resources would always emphasizing to coach, to guide students, how are you able to grab hold of 50 marks within the exam duration? That is the ultimate survival skills that you're looking for at the minimum requirement if you need to get through the examination. So that hopes to give you a much clearer pictures about the differences between the academic route of study versus the professional route of study. That allows you to understand how big the gap is going to be. Guys, however, let's not worry too much about the gap, because we are here to support you, to help you, telling you the ways to narrow down and close the gap, to do better and get well on the strategic professional exam. Well, everything starts with the selection of the paper that you may want to take from the first exam sitting and onwards. Now, looking at the three circles that displays on the screen, you may aware right from the strategic professional exam, you have three assessments. You have three kind of challenges that you have to get through before you become an affiliate in ACCA. First and foremost, if you refer to the bigger circle, it is about an online module pertaining to ethics and professional skills. In short, the EPSM, followed by two of the essential paper, the SPL and the SPR. Finally, another two more papers waiting for you on the option paper. So, have you got a clue what exactly is the recommended sequence for you to select the paper to go on further? Well, based upon the fact that most of you are first time dealing with this examination. So let me just give you a little bit of the advice. It is highly recommended for all the students who pursue in the strategic professional exam to commence the study by taking on and complete the EPSM as the first task. So guys, you may want to respond to me in the attendee chat. For those of you who have completed the EPSM, could you put a Y in the attendee chat? Those of you who haven't, could you put an N, no, in the attendee chat? You may just respond on whether you have completed the EPSM at this moment. Y, if you have completed that, and if you haven't done so. Okay, so I can see a mixture, but majority haven't. Yeah, majority haven't. Okay, great. Now again, that is a reason why ACCA, and including myself, would recommend the students to pursue and complete the EPSM before you move on into strategic professional. If you got a chance to get into the EPSM, you may aware the content of the EPSM is now set in several units. With the latest design of this content of the EPSM, I would strongly recommend the students to complete the EPSM, mainly because of there are two of these units in particular I would like to draw to your attention. Unit 7, pertaining to data analytics, and Unit 9. These two units, not only that it is something newly introduced into the EPSM in the recent year, but more importantly, particularly Unit 9, it highlighted how exactly that these professional skills were to be tested in each of the strategic professional exam. And more importantly, by going through the Unit 9 in the EPSM, it gave you some hint and tips. How would you be able to grab hold of these professional skills marks in most of these professional examination paper? Guys, I'm not sure whether you're aware, except SPR, that the entire exam papers come with 4 professional skills marks. The rest of the strategic professional paper come with 20 professional skills marks. That plays a crucial influence in determining your chances of passing. So, as I said, when you completed the EPSM, that already prepared you well in dealing with these 20 professional skills marks. As I mentioned a moment ago, 50 marks is what you need to get through. So if you know how to build the cushion by grabbing hold of all the professional skills marks to the maximum extent, that already push you near to the passing line. That makes a great difference in passing the strategic professional exams. Upon completing the EPSM, the next stage of the study and the papers that you should go for the exam, which I would recommend you, is go for the essential paper, which is SPL followed by SPR. Leave the options paper, if possible, as the last 2 papers for you to clear off before you complete the ACCA. That is the systematic way for you to pile up, for you to relate all the knowledge together. As you may see on one of the slides that I showed on the earlier page, the knowledge that you learn and gain in each of the professional exam papers in strategic professional, they are interrelated. You are required to accumulate knowledges that you have gained from one paper that carry on to the subsequent paper. These accumulation effect would tells you the need to go by this kind of sequences in order to maximize the synergy effect of compiling and integrating all the knowledges together. So, after saying all these advices, as I say, apart from the change in the mindset, apart from putting yourself into action, you need to have ranges of tools that prepare you and equip you to get yourself fully prepared to deal with the examination. So what exactly are the tools that is upcoming for you? Sonia, you may want to just introduce what ACCA would have given the tools to the students. Over to you, Sonia.
Great. Thanks, TK, for taking us through that first section. Before I get into the tools, as promised, I'm going to dive back into the chat and give a few more shout outs there. We've got, where did I get up to now? We've got Beta from Poland, Blessing from Edinburgh, Wezzy from Cairo, Freddie from France, David from Peterborough in the UK, Javed from Afghanistan, Abel from South Africa. So happy to see so many South Africans here. I lived there for many years, so great to have you guys on board. There was a question that came in, TK, about EPSM, which I just want to quickly address before we look at the tools. And the question was whether or not EPSM is a computer-based exam. So just to clarify that, EPSM is an online learning module. And the aim, as TK so clearly put, is to help you to develop those skills that are required in order to become a finance professional. And so it is all on computer. It's an online module that will take you through the various units. Right, so back to the task in hand. How do we identify those gaps between what we've studied previously and what is the assumed knowledge coming into the ACCA qualification? Now, as I said before, understanding these gaps will allow you to understand where to focus your efforts. And that's going to make you much more productive, much more efficient. And so the tool that we have to assist you with this is our Get Ready module. And you can see that on the screen. I'm going to guide you through what's on the screen there. And included in the Get Ready module are not only our self-check quizzes, but we also have e-learning modules. So we're going to talk about the quizzes first of all. So the Get Ready modules is found in our Student Virtual Learning Center. Now, this is not part of your My ACCA. You simply need to go to the website and create an account on our Student Virtual Learning Center. You do not need to have your ACCA ID or anything like that. You simply go in, create this account, and you will get access to these resources. Now, the quizzes, first of all, the purpose of the quizzes is to assess your understanding of key concepts that are covered earlier on in the ACCA syllabus. So obviously, coming in with exemptions, you will not have completed, let's say, the exams at applied knowledge or applied skills. However, they are assumed knowledge. Now, although your degree will have covered much of the same material, ACCA exams may focus on areas of the syllabus more intensively than you're used to. And I think TK did touch on this. And so the quizzes will help you to pinpoint any gaps in your foundational knowledge that could impact your success in your ACCA exams. Now, you can see on the screen there, we've got Advanced Audit and Assurance. So we go into the Get Ready module for Advanced Audit and Assurance. And the block directly below, you've got the self-check quiz and you've got the knowledge recap. I'm going to talk about the self-check quiz first of all. Now, this is a module that contains a series of quizzes that cover topics from the exempted paper for this, which would of course be the audit and assurance. So how do you use this quiz? I would suggest that you start by taking the quiz without any preparation. So go into this platform, take the quiz, let's say the AA, the AAA self-check quiz, because this is going to give you a baseline understanding of your current knowledge level. Once you've taken the quiz, you will get your results. It will guide you through what you've got right, what you've got wrong, why. It will give you the answers and so on. So review your results very carefully and identify the questions that you struggled with, because these are the topics that you will need to revisit. Now, once you've gone and you've studied up, you've closed those knowledge gaps, and I'll talk to you about how to do that, so the various resources we have to assist with that in just a sec. But once you've closed those gaps, then go back and retake the quiz, because what you should find is that you've made progress, that you're much stronger in your performance on the quiz, and that you are actually closing these knowledge gaps. So how do we close those gaps? We've identified them with the quiz. How do we close them? Well, you can see on the screen, we've also got knowledge recap modules. Now, these knowledge recap modules, these are e-learning modules, and they are prepared for you, specifically exempt students coming in at strategic professional level. We understand that, the transition can be challenging. And so these knowledge recap modules are there to help smooth your transition. And so it is a really good tool. It's going to take you through e-learning modules covering the key concepts. And in doing so, bridge those gaps, reinforce your foundational knowledge, and build your confidence so that you are well prepared to continue with your studies at strategic professional level. So 2 things here. Identify your gaps by taking the self-check quizzes in our Student Virtual Learning Center. Once you've identified gaps, you know which area you need to focus on, you can go through our knowledge recap modules, which is the e-learning support resource. Now, in addition to the knowledge recap modules, say you've identified gaps, you've used the knowledge recap modules, but you still find that you're a little shaky in certain areas. Another tool that you can use, or another resource you can use in order to close the knowledge gaps, is the ACCA Study Hub. Now, drop a yes, a Y in the chat if you are aware of the Study Hub, N if you're not aware of the Study Hub. While you're doing that, you know, just to tell you what the Study Hub is, it's our online platform and it's designed to support your learning. So what you find on that platform is a load of interactive materials, study guides, practice questions. You find links to technical articles, topic explainer videos, which I'll talk about in just a sec. Let's have a quick look. Great to see that so many of you are familiar with the Study Hub. Great, some of you are not, but that's okay because now you are. And so the Study Hub is a great resource. How do you access it? Log into your My ACCA account, and once you've logged in, you can navigate to the Study Hub section. Go in, the Study Hub is organized by exam papers, and so find the paper that corresponds to the exemptions you were given. And so in this case that we were looking at, find the paper that relates to audit and assurance and go through those resources. It's all chapter organized. It's basically a textbook online. Then you've got quizzes to test your knowledge. You've got longer questions, which you can practice to reinforce that knowledge. But it's a really great tool to use when you have identified knowledge gaps that need to be closed. Okay, so Study Hub is one. Another resource you've got on the slide there are the technical articles and topic explainer videos. Now, there was a question that came in regarding when to use technical articles. I'm sure you're familiar with technical articles. Are you familiar with our topic explainer videos? That's the question. So again, if you know about our topic explainer videos, do drop a Y in the chat. If not, drop an N. So let's see where the knowledge lies on our topic explainer videos. You've probably all heard of the technical articles, which is great, but do we know about topic explainer videos? I see some results coming in. Oh, we've got a lot of no's here. And that's okay, because now you do know about these topic explainer videos, and I'm going to explain what they are. We've had a couple of yeses, but the majority, it would seem, are not aware of the topic explainer videos. So technical articles and topic explainer videos are available via the ACCA website. So you can navigate to the exam specific page for topic explainers and technical articles. They are also in the Study Hub. So you will find either at the end of sections or at the end of a chapter, if there are any technical articles and topic explainer videos that are relevant to that subject, you will find them embedded into the Study Hub. You can also find them on our YouTube channel, which I'll tell you about in just a second. But basically, we know the technical articles, they're going to provide you with explanations and real-world application of key concepts. And it's going to help you gain a deeper understanding of complex topics. The topic explainer videos offer a concise and visually engaging summary of essential principles. And so it makes it easier to grasp and retain information. And so these videos will cover various key concepts in your particular exam and break them down. And these are produced by our expert tutors, of which TK is one of those. And it's basically taking you through explaining those concepts so that you can get an understanding of those concepts. So if you've got exemptions and you are struggling with some of the foundational knowledge, you can use the topic explainer videos and technical articles to reinforce that. And even while you are studying for your strategic professional level exam, you will also find that there are relevant topic explainer videos and technical articles to support your study. So in response to that earlier question, when should I use these technical articles and topic explainer video resources throughout your study? So it could be to reinforce knowledge that is brought forward, and it could also be as you prepare for your actual exam. So what have we looked at? We've looked at how to identify any knowledge gaps. We've also looked at how to close those knowledge gaps and the resources that you can use in order to do that. So TK, we've identified, we've closed the gaps. What tips can you give students who are ready to get stuck into to studying for their first ACCA exam?
Great, thank you, Sonia. Now, guys, you already have heard from Sonia the ranges of tools that is available to you, mainly from the ACCA website and YouTube channel. So it's now the matter of how are you going to make the most use of it. And that will determine directly the chances of you in doing well in the examination. The first thing I would suggest, assuming, because looking in some of the questions right now, I would suppose that some of you are first time taking the exam in December sitting. So obviously, despite the feeling of getting a bit nervous, getting a little bit worried, more constructively, it should be on what are the right things to do, which is what I have mentioned a moment ago. Now, I would like to give you some of the checklists. So these are the checklists that I will call to-do lists. So make sure before you go for the examination, you're going to do this couple of to-do lists over here. So as to when should you do list 1 or list 2, I will pretty much leave it to you. But here is the to-do list for everyone to take note as the study and exam technique. First and foremost, are you aware of the entire syllabus of the exam papers you're dealing with? Guys, do not just rely on all the loose piece of the learning material from the social media. That will not give you the entire pictures until you go back to the document called the syllabus and the study guide on each of the paper. So that is the first thing. You have to make sure that you are aware of what is in the syllabus, because the ACCA exam could test on any part within the syllabus area. So that is the first good attitude that the students need to well aware. So have you read through the study guide? Have you seen the syllabus? Make sure you are aware of the latest syllabus where your exam sitting is tested on. Second, are you aware of what could have caused failure on students in the past exam performances? And definitely, what are the areas that examining and marking team has given a thumbs up to what are the areas the students have done well? So the second thing you're going to read is the examiner report. So these examiner report will give you a diagnostic about the past performances of students who did well, more importantly, areas that students have done poorly. Because it is likely that those areas that students have done poorly may also apply to you. So in order to prevent these pitfalls, it would be good to listen to the marking team and the examining team in order to avoid the pitfalls. What are the right things to do? In the examiner report, it would usually provide suggestions or solutions for you to follow. So as I mentioned, when you're going to change your mindset, when you're going to change your habit, it is all about, are you following what is being advised and given from the examining and the marking team? So these are the good things and the right things that you're supposed to pick it up and rehearse it by attempting the mock examination, which I think Sonia will share with you a bit more detail in a moment. Last but not least, make sure you are technically prepared, you are technically sound. So mentioning about technical article, topic explainer, study hub, ask yourself, have you glanced through, have you read through, have you watched through all these videos? These are the resources that allows you to wrap up and equip yourself with a solid technical knowledge. To me, the technical knowledge is a source of your confidence to go into the exam and do well. Last but not least, rehearsal. Have you done enough rehearsal? Have you done enough mock examination, particularly your time management skills, particularly your ability to deal with stress, particularly the ability for you to deal with crisis? What if things goes wrong? Will you know what is your plan B? So these are the things that you need to have an answer before you step into the computer lab to do the examination. So these are a little bit of my study tips and exam techniques advices over here. So Sonia, over to you.
Great. Thanks for those expert advice for our students there, TK. Before I go on, there was a question that came in about the study hub and just wanting a little bit more explanation on the study hub. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. So our study hub is a digital learning resource. And there are resources that are freely available to all of our ACCA students. And this involves an online textbook, let's say, an online study text, which provides you with full syllabus coverage. What you will also find is the topic explainer videos embedded into the study hub. You will find access to the technical articles. You will have quizzes, so short quizzes at the end of the chapters. You will find longer questions that you can practice. There's also things like flashcards, you can make notes. So it's a platform that you can use to successfully study for your ACCA exams, and it is freely available to all of our ACCA students. So just to clarify that, next then, right, we're going to look at resources that you can use to support your studying and following those steps that TK previously outlined. So our website is your first port of call. Our ACCA global website, you will navigate there to the ACCA qualification. Under our student resources, you will find all of the resources available to support you on your studies. And you can see there, you simply go in to the qualification, you select your exam, and you will get a list of those resources. So I'm not going to go through every resource that we have right now, but what I am going to share with you is some of the essential resources that are designed to enhance your preparation and tools that will help you to plan effectively, understand examiner expectations, and refine your exam technique. So the first thing I'm going to go with is the Compass Planner. Now, we've all got busy lives. We're studying, we're working, we've got family, we've got hobbies and interests and friends. And how do we balance all of these whilst ensuring that we stay on track with our studies? This is where the ACCA Study Planner Compass comes into play, because it's a tool that helps you map out your study schedule in a very structured way. Now, you access Compass Planner through your My ACCA account. Start by setting your goals. So I am going to take SBL, let's say, in December. You're going to identify that goal and you're going to put in create a timeline. You're going to have milestones, and you will use this to track your progress and to ensure you stay on track. Now, the important thing with Planner is that you're realistic. So put in realistically the time that you have to prepare your other commitments. You block that time out. Now, what you find with Compass Planner is that it's going to make you more efficient. I remember when I was studying, you know, first of all, you find everything to do other than studying when it's time to study, be that cleaning, be that cooking, be that anything to detract. Secondly, when I did sit down to study, and this was before I became a real planner, when I sat down to study, it was like, okay, what am I going to study? Okay, I'm going to study this subject because I like this subject and I'm good at it. I'm not going to study that subject because, oh, it's a bit complicated and I'm not looking for that now. That is the most ineffective use of time. When you have a plan in place, as you sit down to study for 1 hour, let's say, you are going to fully utilize that hour and you're going to be efficient. You're going to cover all of the material, given it sufficient time. And you're not going to have to cram at the last minute because you didn't have a plan, because cramming for your ACCA exams does not work. So the Compass Planner is going to promote a balanced study routine, and you're going to ensure that you incorporate enough time to actually study and revise and practice questions so that you can test run before. And we're going to talk more about that in a second as well. Next resource, Read the Mind of the Marker. Now, this is a series of articles that provides insights from ACCA markers on what they expect in exam answers. These can be found on the ACCA website under the Student Resources section. And it's really going to help you to understand marking criteria. So pay close attention to the advice that is given on things like how to structure your answer, common mistakes to avoid, and tips to demonstrate your understanding of concepts. And apply this insight, so that you can practice it prior to getting into the exam. So by the time you get to the exam, you will be producing an answer that clearly meets markers' expectation. So really important to understand how examiners will evaluate your answers. It's really going to improve your performance. Next resource, Examiner's Report. Another crucial resource. This provides detailed feedback on how students performed in the past exam. So examiners will highlight common errors where students struggled. So download the reports. They're on the ACCA website. And again, they're available for each exam. Review the feedback and identify any trends, look for any reoccurring issues, and, take advice from those reports. So again, a resource providing valuable insights into what the examiners are looking for, what are the common pitfalls to avoid. And again, it's to help you fine-tune your exam technique to ensure you're well prepared for the type of questions you're going to see in the exam. The last thing, and something TK mentioned, was the pre-exam session mock exam. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of practicing. Now, you would not go for your driving test without first having a few lessons and, practicing in a car. So why would you do that for your exam? Now, what we have is the ACCA practice platform, and this practice platform simulates the actual exam environment. So it gives you the spreadsheet, it gives you the word processing document that will be available in your exam. I would strongly suggest you go and you familiarize yourself with that platform. It's going to help you to determine how you're going to reorganize your screen in the exam, into a layout that suits you best. And what you will find is that the functionality is not the same as Microsoft. And so it's important that you become familiar with that before the exam. Now, 3 weeks before your exam, you will find a mock exam in the practice platform. What should you do? You should take the mock exam under exam conditions. So don't take it with your book and your notes and refer back and forth. Take it under exam timed conditions, because this is going to allow you to really assess where you're at. This should be done at least a week to 2, preferably 3 weeks before your exam, and not a couple of days before the exam, because you're not going to have time to take any corrective action. So included in the mock exam, you will have solutions, you will have marking guides, and a few days after the mock exam is released, you also get debrief videos. Now, these debrief videos are available on our YouTube channel. On the screen there, you can see ACCA Student Study Resources. Hopefully you're familiar with the YouTube channel. Again, drop into the chat, yes if you are, why if you are, and if you're not. The debrief videos are put onto our YouTube channel. You will also find on our YouTube channel topic explainer videos, and you will find a host of other webinars that are relevant for your exam, and they're all organized in playlists. So you can go to the playlist for your exam. Let's say you're taking SPL. You can go to the SPL playlist and you will find everything listed for you there. Now, remember, the mock exam is to help you get a feel for exam formats, help you to manage your time effectively, and reduce any stress or anxiety that will exist on exam day. It's going to help you test your knowledge and you can then, brush up on certain areas before the actual exam takes place. Some of you are familiar with our YouTube channel, some of you are not. If you're not, then after this webinar, go straight to our YouTube channel, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content that we upload. Right, so those are the key resources. Compass Planner, get a plan in place and get into the mind of the marker. So read the mind of the marker, look at the examiner's report, and practice, practice, practice. I cannot emphasize how important that is. And we provide you with a mock exam, so do make use of that. And one last thing before we look at some of your questions, start today, okay? A little progress each day adds up to big results, and don't put it off anymore. Today, if you don't have a plan, do your plan today so that tomorrow you wake up and you are ready to do 1 hour, 2 hour, however much time you have a plan, you know what you're covering, you know what subject, and go with it. Right, I know that we're running out of time, but TK, have you had a look in the chat? Are there any questions that we're gonna have a quick look at?
Yep. I think there's one question which I would like to re-emphasize again, just like right from now till the exam. So what are we supposed to do? Apart from the to-do list, as I've mentioned, what I could suggest you is that do not just overly emphasize in just completing one task and neglecting the rest of it. Take, for instance, I have come across students who tends to overspend time on reading up the stuff, putting too much of time in reading up the book or spending time on reading up the articles. Well, it's important for you to really know when to pause a stop button and try to do something else. So you always wanted to get a mixture of activities in order for you to have a reflective learning. So after absorbing, after getting some input of knowledge, you want to know, so is it with you? Are you able to apply what is being asked? Now, one of the suggestions for you, before you complete the entire syllabus, obviously you may want to spend some time to pick up some selected questions or quizzes in the study hub, which is readily segregated for you by topic. You can just save up your time by picking up a few of the quizzes to just test out your knowledge. Once you feel comfortable, you may want to go to the practice platform and take on the real exam questions, but be prepared. The real exam questions in the strategic professional are likely to have a combination of syllabus area. So you will be able to benefit more in trying and attempting the real exam questions when you have covered quite a decent bit of the syllabus. But before you do that, while you're at the beginning, maybe the quizzes, the practices in the study hub will be a good source of the practices for you to get a hands-on exposure on it. And the other thing for you to make use of the time much more effectively, it is the topic explainer video. Now, you may know a lot of time when we want to learn up, when we want to prepare our exam, we tend to go to sit down still at one of the places that we have a very conducive learning environment, pick up the book, turn on the laptop and read it up. However, do you realize that we also spend quite a bit of time in transporting, taking a tube, taking a bus, whatever? I would suggest with your smartphone, whenever you are sitting in a transportation that you're not doing anything, especially when you're not driving, you may want to turn on to the YouTube and just pick up one of the topic explain the video to learn it. So you tend to pick up something when you're watching the video a couple of times. Some of the YouTube video on the topic explainer, it's not so much about technical content, but it's more on skill based. So watch those kind of video because those are the skills that you're going to bring into your mind to make it to become your habit. So that is the advice I will give it to respond to some of the questions in the chat. Over to you, Sonia.
Great advice, TK. Thanks for that. And I think the concept of watching these topic explainers on the move is a really valuable piece of advice because we spend so much of our time commuting and staring idly at nothing. So this is a perfect opportunity to do some studying. we're just about out of time, but there's one last thing I want to address. And that's regarding how much time do I need to prepare for a module? Is 3 months enough? Absolutely, yes. You can book your exam now. If you've been procrastinating, if you've registered earlier on in the year and you haven't booked your exam yet, book your exam for December, determine a plan. 3 months is enough time to prepare for the exam, as long as you put the time and effort in to ensure that you cover all the syllabus. Remember, you can't question spot with ACCA. You've got to get full coverage and you've got to practice questions. But 3 months is definitely enough time. Would you agree with that, TK?
Yes, absolutely. It is all about doing the right things. That matters.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. And that's all we've got time for. So thanks to my co-host TK, and thanks to you all for joining us today. We hope that you found this webinar informative and helpful as you embark on your ACCA journey. Remember, preparation and strategy are keys to success, and we're here to support you every step of the way. So let's get started today. Thanks very much and goodbye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye all.